Hey guys, this is the extras for The High Schooler, which was my last video, I think, probably. And so it was a class project again, and the project was to describe a space. And any space we could choose, but all our audio had to be recorded separately. And right now I'm actually testing that out by recording it separately with this thing over here. Anyway, and there was so like after class ended, we were given this assignment the first time. We kind of we stood outside for a while, and we talked about how the Academy of Arts, which is another college university thing around here, they don't have an actual campus in San Francisco. They just kind of own a bunch of random buildings, and then we were like, yeah, so what if we try and do a documentary on that? There's no actual place for that. And apparently San Francisco is like angry about how much space they're taking up, how much space the Academy of Arts is taking up. And so this one other kid in our group named Nick Cezanne, and he helped me out a lot in the end. He was all like, he burst into this David Attenborough voice with the Academy of Arts is literally eating away at the heart of San Francisco. And I thought that was genius. So I immediately knew I wanted him to voice it, and he did in the end. And I kind of, the few places that occurred in my head were just like nearby forest or my old high school. And my old high school, I mean, there's so many funny things. I just immediately started coming up with funny things, and for 2 days afterward, I kept writing down little things I could make fun of. Sorry, I'm shaking the camera here. And so I kind of wrote out a script, and I went there to film. And I kind of, I kind of met with a few old teachers, and they were just like, just don't film any students in it. I even met with my old counselor, and I'm going to change her name here. I'm going to call her Miss Farmdone. And I met up with her at one point, sort of, and she was driving away, and she seemed kind of pretty fine with the idea of me filming there. So I did. And eventually I kind of actually got kicked out, and that's a story I'm going to tell you a little bit later. It's a very exciting story, so be ready. Anyway, there's one deleted scene which I had to delete because I couldn't get the right footage, and my video was just getting too long for the class assignment. Let's see, I have a script here just because, I need a script. Also, I did a temporary version of the video with my voice, and actually when we went back to do it in with Nick's voice, he changed up the script a bunch, like with David Attenborough style, and I think he actually made it a lot better. And he even helped me film like a few little extra clips. So anyway, I'll show you a bunch of that stuff, and then we're gonna end with my story. Okay, so first, here is the deleted scene.
For their daily exercise, high schoolers work out on highly realistic AstroTurf pastures. The multicolored grass is so realistic to the high schoolers that they barely notice the difference, and will continue to spit on it as if it is normal earth.
Here we have the temporary my voice version.
Today, we will be exploring the habitat of a highly unusual creature, the high schooler. We have chosen to showcase the habitat while the majority of these highly unpredictable creatures have retreated to their dens. These creatures are incredibly messy. The rubbish bin is a relatively complex invention that only a few have truly learned to utilize. Now, these unusual containers are called lockers according to our most advanced high schooler to English translators. These somewhat rectangular spaces are actually the nooks where these beings store their objects. Common things that can be found in a locker are garbage, moldy sandwiches, and graffiti. When outside forces try to impose their rules on these creatures, they completely disregard them and continue to follow their natural instincts. A good example of this behavior is the formation of a Christian club and the subsequent painting of Christian symbols on school property, which completely disregards the separation of church and state laws. Speaking of clubs, these creatures like to band into packs based on similar interests, as well as on race. This can be seen by the formation of a cornucopia of clubs. One of the favorite meals of the high schooler is gum. This is evident from the sheer amount of it plastered on every square yard of this habitat. Outside forces have tried to prohibit gum, but the high schoolers, being high schoolers, didn't give a shit. We are now approaching the area where high schoolers spend the majority of their time. These are called classrooms. Here, the adults, or the high schooler in a later stage of development, attempt to teach or spread knowledge to the high schoolers. Unfortunately for these adults, the majority of these high schoolers, once again, do not give a shit. Here, we are coming upon some window murals. These are actually to cover the broken windows. Breaking windows is a display of dominance among high schoolers. This is the cafeteria, where only the fastest of the species make it to the section of the line that is actually served food before class starts again. In this brutal example of survival of the fittest, the individuals who come to the cafeteria late die off. Here, we see a high schooler trying to enter the front door of the high school. They will often... Wait, it sees me! Oh god, it's coming right for me! Save yourself!
Here's a little bit of extra footage that I filmed after I was caught and I had to go home. I just got kicked out of my high school for filming, so that sucks. I don't really know what I'm gonna do now. I guess I'll have to figure it out. I'll try and sneak in there tomorrow and get the rest of my footage. I got a bunch of it, at least, before they noticed I was there. Okay, let's see how this goes tomorrow. Okay, now here we can go to the story of how I was caught. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay, so I was in the hallway filming for a while, and at some point, all the teachers left. And I just kept filming in the hallway for a while, and then this janitor walks by me. He's like a pretty crazy guy, actually. He's kind of twitching around, and he walks up to me, and he's like, gotta get up, time to go out, lock it up. And I was like, oh, okay. And I didn't quite get all the footage I wanted. And I had a script, but when I went in there and filmed, I was just so excited to film that I kind of just filmed a bunch of random bits I knew I would need, and I didn't actually refer back to the script. So when I got kicked out, I wasn't really sure if I got everything, and luckily I actually did get most of the footage I needed. And what I didn't get, I kind of either removed or rewrote. So then I went outside and decided to film around the outside for a while. I filmed some random crap, and then I started filming the cafeteria, and a different janitor rolls by, two garbage cans, just kind of like hunched over them, just rolling them along, and really white hair, old guy. And he just like looks up and sees me and looks back down. And then he pops his head back up and goes, hey kid, get over here. And I was just like, okay. And I walked over, and he sees my camera, and on my camera is written Kit A, which is one of the most basic kits I can check out. And so he pulls out his walkie-talkie, and he's like, we got a kiddo over here, we got a kiddo. And he turns to me, he's like, man, you can't be around, you planting bombs. And he just it turns out he thinks I'm trying to plant a bomb, I think, which is really sad. I mean, it's clearly a camera. And it also is Kit A, clearly not Kidda, but whatever. And so eventually I convince him that it's a camera. And he's still trying to call the police on me. Like, he's actually attempting to get the police over on the what did I say, Paul? That walkie-talkie. And I'm just like, okay, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean to film. I can leave right now. And he's just like, who said you could be here? Who are you? What's your name? And so I actually showed him, like, I actually had my old ID from that school on me. So I showed it to him, and he was all like, "It's not real. This is not real." He thinks I faked it. I don't know who'd go through the trouble of faking a lanyard from my school. I don't know. That'd be pretty sad. I mean, they never even check those things. And then he's like, "No, you can't be here." And I was like, "Well, okay. I mean, I talked to like a few old teachers and even my old counselor." And he's like, "What's her name?" And I said, "Miss Farmdone." Change name there. And he was like, he just gave me this weird look, and he pulls up his walkie-talkie. "Does anybody know a Miss Farmdone?" And I mean, okay, if you go to the school, she's like third in command behind the principal and vice principal. Everybody knows this lady. So of course, this head janitor doesn't know who the hell she is. It's pretty sad, actually. Like, come on, he thinks he's the head of the CIA or something. Janitor. So the guy on the other end of the walkie-talkie is like, "Yeah, I know Miss Farmdone." And the guy just like turns to me. He's like, "Well, she didn't tell me anything. She didn't tell me anything." I was like, "Yeah, I just talked to her before. Like, she just drove away." And he's like, he's really lost here for a second. He's just like, "Only the media can be here. Only the media is allowed to be here." And I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I can just leave right now. My car's right over there, and I'll just walk away. I'm sorry. I'll drive off. And he just kind of gives me a glare for a while, and then he pulls up his walkie-talkie. He's like, He's compliant. And he lets me go. And I just like drive home, and then I shot that little extra clip, and I just returned the next day, and they left the school like wide open, not in the inside, but all the outside of it. They left it wide open. So I just went back in there and filmed it, because there's no janitors on Saturday. And I filmed everything else I needed then. And yeah, that's the story. I know, it's very exciting. So anyway, I have to wrap this up. It's getting really long. But I'm actually possibly considering making a sequel, just because everyone seems to really like it, and I had a lot of fun doing it, and I still have a few more little ideas, especially if stuff I didn't get. And it wouldn't by any means try and be like better than the first one, but it would just kind of like continue on. Like, it would expand it a little bit. It would kind of get some of the football field, which I missed out on, maybe the inside of a classroom, which I missed out on. And I have a bunch of footage from the inside of the hallway. I mean, I got like 40 minutes of footage in there, and I narrowed it down to like 3 minutes. So I can still use a bunch of that. And I think you guys have a pretty good chance for a sequel. I definitely think I'm going to try and work on that. Anyway, thanks for watching this. Sorry, it ended up being really long. I'm really bad at like keeping things short, I guess. And I will see you guys in the future. Yeah, okay, awesome. See you guys. Bye.